What's up, everyone? Hi, I'm Parang, and I'm going to be breaking down my Beyond Meat trade today. Beyond Meat is a plant-based meat manufacturer. So, essentially, just I'm trying to give you a brief about the company. They basically use plant-based, basically, they used vegetarian ingredients to make meat, and they use something like peas, cornstarch, coconut water, some kind of flour, and all the kind of vegetarian stuff to make meat, like pork, beef, chicken, mutton, all of these things, right? So they basically are a technology food and beverage company who use technology to create plant-based meat, which is a very big and growing industry since a lot of people are going vegan. People are, uh, caring about the nature and they're not liking to eat non-vegetarian as they used to. So this particular trade was a support bounce trade followed by an incoming catalyst, and that catalyst was that Taco Bell, another Spanish chain, actually tied up with Beyond Meat, and now they're going to introduce Beyond Meat products into their menu. So now Taco Bell is a household name in the US. It's a very good fast food chain. And when they will use Beyond Meat products, that essentially means that Beyond Meat will be able to, add more of their products to Taco Bell's menu. And since Taco Bell is a very good household brand, as I said before, it's good for Beyond Meat because they get a consistent order flow from a giant. And since these deals are not like a one-time deal, these deals go on for a very long period of time because these are essentially contracts. So whenever a new company or a new fast food chain ties up with a company like Beyond Meat, it's very, very bullish for the stock. So let's see how I took the trade and why I held. So it was a swing trade. So it was, I think I held it for 2 days, 2 complete days. And I'll tell you the reasons why I did not book my gains early. Number two, the reason why I held on to the trade and held to my targets and why my exits, according to me, was the possibly the best exit that I could take. I'm essentially very, very happy with the trade that I took on Beyond Meat. So yeah, I'm going to be sharing some insights of what I felt I did really well. And there are some areas where I could have improved. And I'll also be sharing my trade journal, that how do I journal trades like these so that whenever an opportunity, something similar comes up, how do I push myself to size up and trade it more confidently. So let's quickly jump into the charts and let's see what was the trade setup when it comes to Beyond Meat. So now here you can see the Beyond Meat chart, right? And I'd like to just first tell you what has been happening with the stock, right? So the stock had been coming down all the way from, if you just look at it, the last good high was $145, and even before that, like it tried to make a high of 147, and then it was just dumping. Okay, now what I essentially saw, that there was a very good trend line that was coming from the top, and it actually got rejected here in the morning of 12th of January. So once it got rejected here, I kind of knew that, okay, it is respecting this particular trend line, and let's see what happens if it starts to, break it. The other thing that I was watching was Beyond Meat was at a very important support level. So if you can see this particular level, I'll just draw it. So this particular level was very important daily support for Beyond Meat. Okay, so if you want, I can just tell you that how this particular level was, the trigger for me to play a support bounce trade. So what I was essentially seeing is that if you just go into a higher time frame, and if you look at Beyond Meat, what has been happening with the stock. So here, somewhere around here, you can see this is the rally that I caught in Beyond Meat. Okay, so let's try to understand what has been happening with the stock. So as I told you, this 116 level was very, very important for the stock, and it was kind of double bottoming here. Obviously, the double bottom trade was not active unless it broke this particular high. But since it broke this particular high, I was much more confident. So very simply, I knew that Beyond Meat is in a very good demand zone. So you can see and this whole area has been a very good demand zone for Beyond Meat. And when I saw that this particular trend line, so if you can see this particular trend line on the daily as well, and it is kind of respecting a lot of things right here. Just a second. Yep, here it is. So this particular trend line, okay, not the best trend line, I would say. But since I was drawing it on a 15-minute chart, it made sense to me. And I thought that, if this tries to break this angle, and I could also see a doji. So one more important thing is I saw a doji right at the support level, which basically tells me, okay, there's going to be some action here, and it could potentially bounce back. So even in the volumes, if you can see, I'll just zoom into the volume, just have a look at what has been happening, right? So this particular down move was, coming in with declining volumes. And then at this particular point of time, I saw that it made a doji right at the support level, respected the level really nicely. So I was like, let's see if it bounces off the support. If it takes out the trend line, I'm going to be going long, and I'm going to be holding the trade for long, because, for a longer duration, because I knew I was getting in at a very attractive entry point, and I knew that if I hold on to that trade, it's going to give me a decent gains on my position. So I kind of knew what was my plan. So I understood that, I have to hold the trade for long, and that was my initial plan. So let me walk you through of what made me enter. So basically I entered a bit late. So that's the area where I would like to improve. So basically I'll tell you the exact area where I entered. So this is the, just a second. This is the trend line that I was talking about. And when it got broken here, so I had set up my alerts. And with that alert, I got to know that, okay, this thing is broken. But the area, something which was concerning me, something which was, a bit concerning to me, was that once it broke this particular, just a second, once it broke this particular trend line right here, I'll just zoom in it a bit, right? Once it broke with good volumes, but I could not catch it here. So although I got an alert, but I was in some other trade, so I ignored it for the time being. And then somewhere around here, when it started to break new highs, and this particular push, which happened with a good good volume, that is where I got interested. As like, okay, this particular 116 level has been tested. It is respecting to that level, and this particular push is not a normal push. It is with volume. It took up the highs. I was like, okay, let me go in a positional swing trade. Let me go long here. So I think I took one contract here, and as soon as the next candle was showing me strength, I added to that contract. Like I basically had two options now. I bought them for somewhere around $700 each. So $1,400, approximately 1 lakh rupees was my investment. Now what happens next? The next day, it gaps up, takes support. For example, the first 5-minute candle, I wanted to see that what is the stock doing? Is it holding this particular resistance level? Because this was another level that I had been watching, right? If it bounces from one support, I want to see if it's breaking the next resistance and then taking support right here. So this particular chop, I held onto my trade. I knew that stock could consolidate a bit, and then it started to push up. And then this is the place where I got like triple confirmation of my trade, that my trade is going to be working out really well, because now it is even taking support at the resistance level. But I did not add to my size, because at that time you could see this big flush. This happened because Nasdaq and Dow, and even S&P, all of them were very, very weak. So this is the place where even though I was confident, I did not add to my size. And then look at this push up. Okay, so now why did this push happen? This push basically happened because of a deal. So that particular catalyst was a deal with Taco Bell, as I mentioned earlier. So once this deal was announced, it was announced mid-market, and as soon as it was announced, the stock pushed really hard. Once it pushed really hard, I was like, I'm going to be holding my trade, and my target was this. So it came till here, and then I did not book my gains because I was waiting for this target. Now I was in a dilemma once I saw this candle, and now that's very important for you guys to learn, that once I saw this candle, I stopped looking at my PNL, because I will be comparing my PNL with this point, because I knew I was up maybe I think $1,500, $1,700. And once this candle came, and this pushed back down, and when it just went till here, my PNL was really shattered. Like I was up 80-90% on my investment, and by the time it came back till here, I was only up like 20%. So I was like, okay, it's holding the VWAP, it is making higher highs, it is respecting this particular trend line, it is taking support at this 121 level. Let's see if this level is tested. Now, what happens next is, because of the Taco Bell deal, I knew that there would be some brokerage upgrades, like Goldman Sachs or any other big bank. They will upgrade, or they will at least comment on what they think about this deal. And exactly that happened. pre-market, Wedbush gave a price target upgrade to Beyond Meat, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, and Citigroup. All of them turned really bullish on Beyond Meat. The stock gaps up, and now it breaks $129 level. And then I was like, okay, why am I planning to exit if I can see this level even break? So I saw the first 5 minute candle, and this candle was really awesome. So I was like, okay, I think this still has got strength, and I will be holding it. And my stop loss was a break below 129.26. So anyway, if I would have been even exiting here, I would have been exiting somewhere around here, which I would have been very satisfied with. But when I saw this push up again, I was like, okay, now's the time. This thing is gonna push up. Then once it broke this, then I had two decisions to make. I was up handsomely, and I was like, okay, should I basically sell some off? So what I did is when the stock pushed up right here, I sold off one contract. Now, why did I sold off one contract here? Is I wanted to take advantage of the implied volatility push that happened just at the open. So at the open, the stock pushed up, implied volatility kicked in, and the premiums shot up. So I had a target order there. I was out of one contract. And now, since I was out of one contract, I was up 200% in that contract. So all of my investment was recovered, and even I was up 100%. So I was like, okay, I will let this winner run, and this will be my final targets. So I was continuously watching. Like, I could have added more size, but I was like, okay, it's a swing trade. Let me see what happens, because I did not know that this thing is gonna push up till 146 in like 2 days. So I did not add more to my position, and this is where I think I was wrong. When I was seeing that the stock has such good momentum, there is a catalyst, I should have added to my size. I kind of did not do it because I was all the feeling confident that I could trade it very well, even with size, but I was kind of being defensive, which is foolish according to me. So once it broke this high, I was like, okay, this thing is gonna rip higher. And Beyond Meat is also a heavily shorted stock, so I felt like there could be a short squeeze coming in. This particular level, the stock approaches, I see it, it's holding above that level. I was seeing the tape, I was seeing huge demand. And I was like, okay, this is the last point where I'm going to see the stock go. It comes back here, I sell the rest somewhere around here or somewhere around here, and I lock in a $2,900 gain on Beyond Meat. Now, obviously, the stock went till here, but look what happens next. It gaps down, comes back to this point, takes supply from this zone, and then just continues to tank. So I was kind of really happy with the decision that I took. So this is again 14th January. I was really happy with this particular trade because there was practically no mistake that I did in this trade. Now, let me show you my executions and let me show you my journal so that you can also learn from that. Just a second, I'll be sharing my journal with you. So this is just a second. So I think you should have been able to see my screen. Okay, I think, yep. Okay, so yeah. So now this I use TraderView to journal my trades. I'll someday walk you through my trading journal. It's an electronic journal, and they give all the statistics to me. So this was the trade where it was Jan 12th, 1540 is where I executed, like 340, just 20 minutes before the close. Plant-based meat was given approval in Singapore a day before. Okay, so there was one more catalyst that one day before Singapore gave plant-based meat an approval. There was again a sign of developing countries trying to adopt to this new practice of plant-based meats, and it's basically good for a consumeristic business like Beyond Meat, where consumerism is what they need. So it was a good thing for the stock. Then it was at daily support with strong angle resistance, which I mentioned earlier. End of the day push, bought after the trend line break. This was my entry, and I told you why I entered here. JP Morgan upgrade and Taco Bell partnership ripped the beers, and there was a short squeeze. So there are some tags that I give to my trades. So this was a support bounce trade. It was a profitable trade. It is one of my playbook trades. It was an overnight holding trade. This is the trade where I made practically no mistake. There was a news catalyst. I was long, and there was a big profit. So now these tags let me help to categorize that if there are a lot of winning trades, I need to see what characteristics was there in the trade. Were there a lot of catalysts? Was there a support bounce? Am I trading breakouts properly, or am I trading support bounces properly? So just for that. Now, if I go into the execution part, so $6.25 first contract bought at 340 and 355 or 353, sorry, $6.80 another contract bought. And look at the expiry and look at the contract that I'm choosing. I'm on 14th January. I'm trying to choose a January 29th expiring option. And the reason for that is I didn't know that the catalyst was going to come tomorrow. And that is why, since it is a swing trade, so it's deciding what expiry and what strike are you choosing, that's very important. For example, if I would have chosen earlier strike than this, like 21st January, maybe, I would have been up 2 or 3 times more than I was because of the lesser time that was there in the option, and the deltas would be higher. So whatever it is, I took it according to my plan and I sold one at $17. So this is my execution. So I bought both of them here, sold one of them right here. So if you can see, I bought 2 contracts here, sold one right off this peak as I showed you in the chart. And then somewhere around here, I sold the second one. So I was able to catch like this whole move from here, from bottom to the top. And that's not going to happen all the time, but I'm really happy with my executions. And I just shared with you what was my game plan and why I could execute the way I did. So let me share my executions now from the broker platform so that you can know what was going in my mind. Just a second. Okay. Okay, there it is. So there's one more thing that I want you all to observe, that whatever trades that you're taking anytime, just make sure that you journal them properly. Like, just don't journal them for the sake of journaling them, but rather what I would recommend you is that actually try to understand what was the factors which led you to actually take that particular trade. So that's really important. Because otherwise what happens is we tend to journal a trade. We know the statistics, like we know the quantitative aspects of that trade, but we don't really understand why did we do maybe X, Y, or Z. Like, why did we hold the trade for long? Was there a mistake that we took on the trade? No, stuff like this. So basically that helps you out in understanding yourself better. And I basically realized it really late that I could not, basically not journaling things very properly. So just a second, I'm just trying to share my screen. There's some problem. Just a second. Okay, sorry for the delay. So now this is the trade breakdown which I did. So it was Beyond Meat. It was $2,839 was my realized PNL. And these were the executions. So let me just give you a brief walkthrough of what happened. So 625 bought one, 680 second contract bought, sold for $17, and then sold for $24.50. So it was approximately a 300% ROI on my trade. This is my PNL, $2,839, Beyond Meat 119 strike call. And this is the reason why it shot up. So Yum Brands, which is the parent company of Pizza Hut, Taco Bell, and they basically tied up to Taco Bell, tied up with Beyond Meat. So even Yum Brand stock rose. And then this is what another headline: Beyond Meat stocks jumps 14% on Taco Bell partnership. So Beyond Meat stock jumps after adding fast food favorite to its client roster. So now that's the amount of importance this catalyst played out. And I was able to capture the entire 10 or maybe 20% move that happened in the stock. And that's why I was up. Even though the expiry of my contract was really far away, I could still be able to book a 300% handsome return. And yep, those were some of the key learnings that I had with Beyond Meat. And I hope even you learned different things from my trade, and even you would try to execute something like this, or maybe even better. So yep, that's all from my side. Thank you for watching. For more such content, please consider subscribing. Thank you so much. Have a good day. Bye-bye.